Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be talking about a video game that is not Genshin Impact, something that is a little bit more variety than what I normally tend to do. So today, as you can see on my screen here, the topic of conversation is Hollow Knight. I wanted to talk about this game because I've actually been playing this, both off stream and on stream. If you do, follow me on Twitch, that is what I've been doing for, I think, like the past, I want to say couple of weeks, if not maybe a month or more. But why I wanted to make this video is basically just because I recently beat the game, for the first time, and I beat it on stream. I believe it was yesterday that it happened. Yeah, so this is my very first time playing Hollow Knight. I've never played it before, and I didn't really know about the game prior to playing it. I didn't really know about the story behind it. I didn't know about the game mechanics or anything like that. I kind of just went into the game completely blind, and I, had to figure things out along the way. Now, I wasn't completely dumb, and I did reference the Wikipedia page of Hollow Knight many times throughout my playthrough, and I was able to utilize a lot of helpful resources such as the Discord server for Hollow Knight. I was able to ask people for tips and suggestions and help with clearing content in the game. But I just recently beat it earlier. Yeah, basically yesterday, I beat the game for the first time, and I wanted to kind of take a moment to talk about it, because this game is definitely one that I absolutely love, and I think that it is definitely a game that deserves to be very highly respected and admired. I would probably consider this game to be, in my opinion, a classic, and I feel like it would be fantastic if anyone and everyone were able to experience this game. Obviously there are people out there who really don't like this style of video game, whether it's the genre or whether it's the game mechanics that don't really vibe with you. That's perfectly fine, I get that, but I feel like it's a good experience for anyone to have, and it kind of reminded me of whenever I played my very first Dark Souls game of all time, which was Dark Souls 3. I went into Dark Souls 3 and I absolutely hated the game. I thought that it was like way too excessively difficult, and that it was ridiculous in the, amount of obstacles and the amount of I guess, content that stood in your way and that really stopped you from progressing in Dark Souls. I definitely felt frustrated and annoyed and angry at times during Dark Souls 3. But what ended up happening is I learned more about the game, I did more research, and I was able to finally, progress through the game like a normal, regular player. And once I kind of learned more in depth about the game, I started to see what made it so good and what made it really fun and enjoyable and entertaining. And so, now, after I have beaten Dark Souls 3 twice, two separate occasions, I absolutely love the game. I think it's an insanely good game. And Hollow Knight was basically the exact same experience for me, where I went in and, I think that it was Dark Souls 3, but to a lesser extent, where there were certainly bosses and content in Hollow Knight that really grinded my gears and kind of made me mauled. And so I know that there was at least one moment when playing Hollow Knight where I kind of thought to myself, man, I'm never going to get past this, and I might as well quit the game and move on to something else. But eventually I don't know, I was very stubborn. I kept on pushing through, and eventually I beat the game. To kind of give sort of an explanation about the game for anyone who, you know, maybe is not familiar with it. Maybe you've never played it. You don't really know how the mechanics and the content of the game work. I'll kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown here. So let's load up my save pile here. So yeah, you can kind of see, I think it showed there on the starting screen, that I have spent a minimum of about 79 hours playing Hollow Knight. I will say, like, there are some of those hours I did spend kind of AFK, and I wasn't really playing the game, it was just running in the background. But yeah, so roughly around 75 to like 80 hours I've spent playing this game. Cool. So one thing that I kind of want to talk about and explain is Hollow Knight does have sort of a progression system, and the way that it works is that, you know, instead of going from 0% completion to 100, they actually go above 100% completion. You can get a total of 112% completion in Hollow Knight, and that is like completing every single aspect of the game essentially. And you can actually go and Google, you know, the Hollow Knight progression system and see how much percentage each, you know, piece of content will give you when completing. But yeah, if we take a look here, so I'll go to the next tab. So let me see. I'm gonna move my webcam very slightly because my webcam is kind of blocking it. So you will see, like, yeah, right below my webcam, it says 106% is how much I've completed. So I am still missing some content that I have not yet done and have not yet attempted. But for the most part, I have cleared a good chunk of the game. So before I, you know, went to go fight the final boss of Hollow Knight, I was at 104%. But then I think what I ended up doing is, yeah, so I fought one of the other bosses in the game known as Lost Kin, and then I also completed what is known as the Dream Nail, but actually later in the game you awaken it, so it's called the Awoken Dream Nail. So I did those two things, and I ended up getting to 106% completion. Yeah, and so to kind of explain something that's important about Hollow Knight, so let me go look at my charms here. Yeah, nice. So there is basically multiple endings to Hollow Knight. I think there are 5 total endings, if I'm not mistaken. There should be 5 total endings to the game. The first one, obviously, is just like, you know, your standard playthrough. You go through the game, you approach the final boss, you fight them, and you beat them, right? Now, there is an item, right? There's a charm that you have, and you basically, I think you need to have this charm in order to eventually get to the final boss, if I'm not mistaken. The charm is called King Soul, and it is a very tricky charm to get because for the King Soul, you basically have the 2 halves of it. It's split in 2, and both of the halves, they're called white fragments, and you need to collect them, right? So the first white fragment, it's not difficult to get this specific fragment because really all it involves is like you just need to progress through an area, which I believe is the green path area. Let me pull up the map here. Yeah, so I believe it is the green path area of the map, and you know, you progress through this area, and there's a section here, or it might be down here in Queen's Gardens. I think it's one of the two. It's very likely Queen's Gardens. That's probably what I'm thinking of. So you go to Queen's Gardens, you progress through this area, and you reach an NPC who will give you 1/2 of the King Soul. They will give you a white fragment, right? It is a little bit tricky because, you know, as with like most difficult games, the platforming is not super simple. Like, you have obstacles, right? You have like spikes, you have like enemies that will charge at you and potentially kill you. And there are a lot of ways that you can screw up, right, when you're kind of exploring around and running around the game. So that's where the first white fragment is. Not terribly difficult to get your hands on, but a little bit troublesome. Now, the second half of the King Soul, it is a lot more difficult, and in my personal opinion, I think that this part of the game was very likely the absolute most difficult thing I've ever done in Hollow Knight. And yes, I also mean, like, comparing that to all the bosses in the game, this piece of content was even more difficult. So, first, what you need to do, before you even try to go after the second half of the King Soul, is you need to awaken your dream now. And what does that mean? Well, basically, you can see here that my awoken dream now, I have a number next to it, 2406. You need a minimum of 1800 next to your dream now. Like, that is what is known as essence in the game. So you need 1800 essence minimum in order to awaken your dream nail. And then you need to go to an area. Let me show it on the map here. So there's an area, where is it? Yeah, right here. Kind of in the center of the map, you can see on the screen here, it says Palace Grounds. So in that area, there is an NPC. Well, not an NPC, sorry. It's an enemy that you need to use the Awoken Dream Nail on, and then you need to fight that enemy. And then you end up killing the enemy, and you gain access to an area known as the White Palace. Now, here is one thing about the White Palace that I was not expecting, and I absolutely hate about this area. This is something that really, really frustrated me. So, in the game of Hollow Knight, the way that it kind of works is that you progress through the different areas, the different regions, right? You can see all of them in different colors here. How it works is that there's an NPC by the name of Cornifer, and every time that you find a new area, Cornifer will be located somewhere there, and you have to talk to him, and once you talk to him, you are able to purchase a map of the area. And once you purchase the map, you can open up the map, as you can see here, and you can see where you're located. But if you don't have the map and you try to access the map, it will open up kind of like a blank screen, and in the middle of the screen it says you do not have the map of this area, right? Now, for the White Palace, it is unique in that it is the one area of Hollow Knight that does not have a map, and you cannot obtain a map of any kind. You are basically in the White Palace, traveling around completely blind. You don't know where you are, and you don't know, like, what direction goes where and what leads to what, right? Now, thankfully, there have been players, obviously, who have beat the game and who have done the work of mapping out the White Palace for themselves. They created their own personal map, and they've published it online. So I will go ahead and show you guys here. I'm going to show you guys what the White Palace looks like. Let's see. We do this right here, and then that, and then that. Okay, so this right here is an image of the White Palace. And as you can see, you basically, you start from the very bottom of the White Palace, right? So you start on the, where is it? Right here, like the bottom left-hand side, right? And you progress through it. And essentially what you need to do is go all the way up through this pathway, right? You go all the way up here, and then you go to the right side, and then you go up, and then you go to the left side, right? And you keep going up. And at the very top of White Palace, you can get the second half of King Soul, the second white fragment. Now, here is why I despise White Palace and why I think it's the most difficult content in all of Hollow Knight. So, it's kind of difficult to see here. Let me try zooming in onto this image. Yeah, we'll do 200%. Okay, cool. Nice. So, oh man, I can't move it, can I? Okay, I can scroll down. Nice. Okay. So you can see that in some areas, like for example, if we point to right here where my mouse is, you can see that there are like these spikes, right? And they're also located in different areas of the map. It's not just the left side here. So basically, White Palace is an area where the majority of the area is essentially just a large, gigantic platforming challenge. There are a minimal amount of enemies. There's basically only one enemy, which is known as a wings mold, I think it's called. And it's basically just a flying little bug. And what you're meant to do with the wings mold is there are some areas where you need to essentially bounce on them in order to get to a higher elevation, a higher area. And the annoying thing about these bugs is, obviously, since they're enemies, if you touch them, you lose a health bar, right? So you need to use a tactic in the game known as nail bouncing, where you jump, you strike downwards, and you hit the enemy, and then that causes you to bounce upwards, right? So that is a strategy, and you can go look it up, you can Google it and find out more about it. That is a strategy that you can use with some of the wing molds. Luckily, you don't have to for a lot of the progression through White Palace, but there is, I think, at least one area where it is 100% required for you to do that. And the really tricky thing about the wings mold enemies is that when you nail bounce on them, it is quite difficult for you to like get any sort of momentum, right? When you kind of try to nail bounce, you barely move your character upwards. So it's very, very tricky, and it's very, very precise. So yeah, essentially this map, it's not necessarily focused on, oh, can you kill these enemies before they kill you? No, it's essentially, can you survive the platforming challenges? And like, one of the most annoying things is that, you know, you can't really see it on the map because it's not marked, like it doesn't show the images, but just imagine that essentially in all of these like light gray areas of the map, there are spinning chainsaw blades, right? That you have to like maneuver around, and you have to basically just avoid at all costs. Because what will happen is that instead of losing a health bar when you touch one of those chainsaws, you will immediately die and get reset back to the very last bench that you were resting on, right? These benches here, these icons, these are resting points. They're kind of like checkpoints, and when you die, you get sent back to one, okay? So the thing is, right, you need to be very careful. If you are, you know, progressing through White Palace, and let's say you get far away from a bench and you're very close to a next bench, but you die before you reach that next bench, you get reset all the way back to the bottom. And it is so annoying, so frustrating, so painful to do. Now, fortunately, there are charms that you can use which will essentially supply you with enough soul to continuously heal yourself and to, you know, make sure that you do not die. So there are ways that you can sort of live infinitely while you're progressing through White Palace, but it's not necessarily that simple and easy. For one, if you do have all the right charms equipped, yes, you can technically survive forever and ever. However, you need to be very patient because, for example, there is one charm where when you lose a health bar, it will slowly basically replenish that health bar, and it will yeah, it'll give it back to you over time. However, right, from my experience playing White Palace and you know, like playing through the game using that charm, it only heals one health bar. And if you, like, let's say you die and then you keep progressing through White Palace and your health bar is like refilling very slowly, right, and it's regenerating, if you die again, right, you basically lose another health bar, and again, that charm will only heal back one health. Once it heals back one health, it doesn't activate anymore until you lose another health bar, right? So while it is regenerating one health, if you lose another, that's essentially permanently losing one health bar. So you have to be very, very patient, very careful while you progress through White Palace. So yeah, this map right here, this is my absolute nightmare. This is my hellscape of Hollow Knight. I did not enjoy this at all. I hated it. there were moments where I legitimately thought I could not do it, and I thought about just quitting entirely. But I needed to get that second half of King Soul, so I went through with it, and eventually I did complete it, you know? Yeah. So, let me swap back over to Hollow Knight. Where is it? It is here. Awesome. Cool. Great. So yeah, that was my experience with Hollow Knight. I played through White Palace. I got the King Soul. I eventually challenged the final boss. Now, the way that Hollow Knight works with the multiple endings is that you can see here, if you take a look at my charms, the King Soul is actually going to be the very last charm that you have. It's going to be on the right side of this charm right here, the Carefree Melody. However, if we take a look here, it says Void Heart, right? And you might be like, well, okay, what does that have to do with King Soul? Essentially, the way that Hollow Knight works is that when you get the King Soul, that allows you to complete the game doing one ending. However, if you want to unlock the other remaining 4 endings, you need to obtain the Void Heart. And the Void Heart is not really that difficult to get your hands on. Essentially, all you need to do is you need to go all the way down here to this area called the Abyss, and you see, like, on the screen where it says the Abyss, like the text, the words, there's a hidden area right there, like beneath the floor, that will allow you to, you know, progress through a little bit of a platforming challenge, but not as difficult as White Palace. And you eventually do get to go to an area which is known as the Birthplace. And supposedly, from what I understand, the lore of Hollow Knight says that the Birthplace is where your character, the main character, your knight, that's where he was born, where he came from, where he originated from, right? So you get to the Birthplace, and that's where you unlock Void Heart. And Void Heart essentially just allows you to experience the 4 remaining endings of the game. And I will, so at some point through this video, probably right now, I will insert a clip of like me beating the game for the first time. And just, you know, obviously to give people a heads up, I am going to speed up the footage. You know, I'm going to probably put it at 2 times speed, and that way you guys can very quickly just watch through that segment. The rest of this video, I will leave it at 1 times normal speed, you know, even though I hate doing that because I feel like, you know, I feel like I talk slow, and I feel like, you know, it's a lot better of an experience to listen to me at like 1.5 or 2 times speed. I'll leave the video at 1.0 times speed, right? Normal speed for all you people out there who don't really want to keep up with a fast talking voice. All right, let's do this. Okay. Oh, nice. We did it. Jesus Christ. That's insane. God damn. That is crazy. Okay. Well, I mean, there we go. That's the fucking end of the game. A game by Team Cherry. Holy moly, man. I have to give, like, a round of applause to the fucking people who made this shit. This was a fucking spectacular game. I loved it. Every single bit about it. I think the only thing that I really, really hated, and I thought, like, you know, didn't necessarily need to be in the game, was White Palace. I think White Palace was an absolute piece of garbage. I hated it. But, you know, nonetheless, I still really, really enjoyed the other, like, 99% of the game. So, yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have completed Hollow Knight for the very first time. I mean, disclaimer, I don't have 112% completion on the game, as far as I'm aware. I only have like 106 or 107%, if I'm not mistaken. But we have completed like the main storyline, most of like the kind of required, like the core content of the game. We finished basically all of that, which is really fucking cool.
yeah, I mean, man, this game is legendary. I think that, you know, this is the type of game where if someone maybe 20 years from now or 30 years from now came up to me and they're like, hey man, what's a good game for me to like try out? What's an old kind of, you know, classic game that you would recommend? I would probably say Hollow Knight. I think that Hollow Knight is one that deserves to stand the test of time and one that deserves to be considered like a classic game in my opinion. Yeah, I really fucking loved it. I will say, like, there were definitely moments throughout the game where I felt really frustrated and annoyed, and I felt like, man, I'm never going to clear this content. I may as well give up and stop playing the game. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I basically pushed through all the hard, difficult content, and I managed to clear it, right? Yeah, well done on achieving this great feat. You persevered and you triumphed. We hope you enjoyed yourself in the world of Hollow Knight. We'll meet again soon on the road ahead, Team Cherry. Yeah, hell yeah, there we go. Right there, screenshot of the day. Yeah, I fucking love Hollow Knight. I think it's just a fantastic game. And for those of you who don't know, you know, for those of you who maybe haven't played Hollow Knight, maybe you don't really care to play Hollow Knight in the future, just letting you know that, like, so Hollow Knight is its own game, right? It became very popular, very famous, very loved, very revered, very respected. The game developers, Team Cherry, they are working on a brand new game called Hollow Knight Silksong, and Silksong has been in development for, I think, like several years now. It's been quite a while. An event, like, finally, during the, I think there was like some kind of video game convention that happened a little while ago, and there was an announcement by Xbox, and they released a teaser trailer for Hollow Knight Silksong. So basically, I expect that sometime within maybe, I want to say the next couple of months if I'm being optimistic, but maybe it could be up until like the end of this year. I think that Hollow Knight Silksong should be releasing as a game, and when that comes out, you can bet your ass that I'm going to be playing that game. It's going to be so exciting, so fun. Yeah, I cannot wait for Silksong. I cannot wait to see how they have, you know, added new content, maybe improved previous existing mechanics, and just given us like more of the Hollow Knight world to explore and to enjoy. But yeah. So with that being said, what are kind of my goals now? What are my plans now? So for one, I am going to, in Hollow Knight, I'm going to go and collect the Void Heart, and I'm going to unlock the other possible endings. However, I'm not going to pursue the rest of the endings. I'm going to basically pause the game after that. I'm going to, you know, put a placeholder on it. And since we have finished Hollow Knight, technically, we've gotten one of the endings, I am going to go ahead and swap over to another game. And the next game that I'm going to be playing, and the next game that I want to stream, I don't know if it's going to be on Twitch, if it's going to be on YouTube. It's probably going to be on Twitch, if not both platforms. But the game that I'm going to be playing next is Sekiro. So if you have played Sekiro, maybe you haven't played Sekiro, whatever the case is, that is my next game that I'm going to be streaming, that I'm going to be playing alongside Genshin. And I really hope to, you know, have you guys join me on that journey, because that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of skill issue, because I know that Sekiro is probably one of the hardest Dark Souls games. And yeah, I can't wait to play it and experience it and to learn about it. It's going to be super exciting. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning into Hollow Knight. As of, you know, this one ending that we have, let me click a button and see what happens next. Boom. Game completion, 106%. Nice. I'm gonna be honest, I do not care at all about the time that it took me to play the game, because in my opinion, all the best games, they are meant to be played and experienced to its fullest. And whether that takes you 1 hour or 20 hours or 500 hours, it doesn't matter, as long as you are enjoying yourself, having fun, and really taking in and soaking up the experience and the enjoyment, you know, and the entertainment. So time, I don't really care about it at all. I do not think I will ever care about trying to, you know, speedrun Hollow Knight. That is not something I care about. That is not something I'm interested in. But yeah, so that is how long it took me. That is the percentage that I'm at. I still need to do apparently 6% more of the game in order to fully complete it. But yeah. Steel Soul mode unlocked. No shade, no reviving. Death is permanent, the ultimate challenge. Interesting. Yeah, so Steel Soul mode seems to be something that is meant more for the hardcore gamers, you know?
I have beat the game one time. I have not done any of the other endings yet, but I was thinking it might possibly be cool for me to, you know, for me to try beating it this second time and seeing if I can do it all over again. So what we're gonna do is, yeah, I'm going to prepare my character for combat, for battle, and hopefully what we will do now is we will defeat the boss and we will unlock a brand new ending. Let me double check to see if I have the right charms. We'll take that one off. We will do, I don't know, what do we want to do? We can do Sprint Master, maybe? That might be a good idea. Yeah, that could work. Okay, we'll do this. Fantastic, okay. The path is opened, one way or another, an end awaits inside. Indeed it does. I won't be joining you in this. The space is built to sustain your likes. Its bindings would drain me were I to join. Cool. Don't be surprised. I'll not risk my own life in your attempt, though if the moment presents, I'll aid as I'm able. Pog. Yeah, so for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with Hollow Knight, don't really know, that character right there, her name is Hornet, and she is kind of an important side character for the story and for the lore. In fact, the developers of Hollow Knight, they are creating a second game, which I believe is going to be releasing sometime this year. It's called Hollow Knight Silksong, and Hornet is the main character that you will play as in that game. So, very cool stuff indeed. Alright, so, let me zoom through this area. Okay, we're going to rest on this bench here. I'm gonna double check my charms. I think the ones that I want are equipped, so we should be good to go. Let me see here. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Cool. So, for those of you who are curious, my sort of combat strategy that I like to use, it's a very risky one, and sometimes it does not pay off, but the combat strategy that I personally like is sort of a kamikaze strategy where essentially I try to deal as much heavy damage as I can in a short time frame before I die, and hopefully that will allow me to kill the boss before they kill me. That is what I go for. Sort of an Oonga Boonga type thing. But sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you have to be a lot more careful. However, it did, when I beat the game for the first time, I did kind of use that strategy and it worked out for me. So, yeah. Awesome. Let's dive into this fight. Yeah. Ooh, got hit there. Okay. Okay. Nice. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, I did not expect to beat him on the first try. I think, the one thing that I did kind of mistake there, and I did wrong, is I wasn't really spamming my spells, and I should have done that a lot more, a lot sooner. But there we go. Nice. Okay, let me regain my soul. Yeah. So this time, when we do face him, I'm gonna go ham. I'm gonna spam my spells and see what happens. Ow. Okay. Wait. Ooh. Yeah, he killed me. I think, there were a couple of times there where I accidentally used the, it was the Vengeful Spirit, I believe is the name of the spell that I used. Vengeful Spirit, that's like the kind of, I would say the basic spell attack that you have, where if you press B and you like don't really press any other buttons, you don't really hold any direction in particular, it will use the Vengeful Spirit. So I think I accidentally used it a couple times there that I didn't really mean to, but it happened. So yeah. Oof. There we go. Oof, okay. Yikes. Man, okay. I keep failing to that attack. Yep. Yeah, I was low on health there. That was not a smart move. I think the last time whenever I beat this game, and I got like the very first, ending, I think it was kind of sort of just dumb luck that got me there, It wasn't really any sort of strategy. It was just me kind of blindly attacking, But, yeah. Okay. Okay. Come on. Oh, yikes. Okay, so I ended up dying. I think my mistake there was just that, I was way too close to him. I should have kept my distance, to be completely honest. But we were close there. We got to the very end where Hornet was like able to jump in and aid us, so yeah, we basically just need to do the exact same thing again. Come on, let me heal. Man, this fucking boss is annoying. Okay. Okay, nice. Ow. There we go. Alright, we're doing it. Damn, that silence though. Holy moly. Oh no. Oh no. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Very nice, very cool stuff. So that was basically the second ending out of the 5 that exist. I've done so far 2 endings, right? This is my second one, and yeah, fantastic game, fantastic stuff. I don't really know what else to say. I think that, you know, the crazy thing is, you know, obviously I'm not some sort of video game expert. I don't really know a whole lot about what's out there, what's available, and you know, the different genres and the different types of games that you know, all these people online consume. However, from my experience personally, I've never actually heard of the game development company Team Cherry. I've never heard of them before playing Hollow Knight, so, you know, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would sort of categorize Hollow Knight as sort of an indie game, where, you know, you had a team of dedicated, wonderful people from Team Cherry who worked on the game and really, really made something that was special, and one that I believe deserves to, like, stand the test of time and exist for many, many years, many generations onwards, you know? I think that, you know, if you are someone who enjoys challenging games, if you enjoy Dark Souls type games, you know, all that sort of good stuff that is very, very difficult and some may say impossible, then definitely go and try playing Hollow Knight. It is such a good game, such an interesting world, and fantastic game mechanics. Yeah, so I think that, you know, now that I've sort of completed the game and now that I'm working through the different endings, I do want to learn more about the lore behind the game and learn about, like, what everything means in terms of the story. But I will say that, like, there are a couple of endings of Hollow Knight that I've read about, and it seems that in order to achieve those endings, you need a little bit more, time invested into the game, and you need to complete some, like, side content and whatever. So for those, you know, endings that I have not achieved yet, I will probably do them at a later time, like, you know, months from now, maybe a year from now, whatever. I think that, you know, I've played Hollow Knight a good amount of time so far. You know, I've spent many, many hours poured into this game, and I feel like at this point I kind of want to switch it up, play some variety, move on to something new. I've kind of thought about it a little bit, and I had this idea where I was like, okay, well, maybe I want to do, like, on Saturdays, if I am not busy, if I have free time, then I could do a YouTube live stream, and perhaps on Saturday I play a little bit of Sekiro on YouTube each week. But I don't know, that's something that, you know, I am currently still thinking about and processing. Maybe I want to do it, maybe I don't want to do it. I will say though that, like, there are some weeks where my schedule is a little bit inconsistent and a little bit wonky, so I don't think it'll be a case where every single Saturday I can do a YouTube live stream. But if you do want to see me, you know, stream and play Genshin or play Sekiro or play other variety games, then you can definitely check out my Twitch channel. That is something available for anyone and everyone to join in. Yeah, I think that Hollow Knight is a beautiful game. I think it is so well designed and just, like, I don't know. It's such an imaginative world, and, like, it has such an intriguing story. And, you know, I feel like the game is not excessively difficult to the point where you feel like quitting. In terms of, like, you know, fighting enemies and tackling bosses and whatever, that is not troublesome at all. Like I said, I think the number one only thing that really, really made me just insanely frustrated and mauled was White Palace, and that wasn't even, like, it wasn't even a combat thing. It was literally just platforming. So yeah, like I said, anyone and everyone, please play Hollow Knight. It's such a good game. I believe right now the Steam sale is currently ongoing for those of you who play games on PC. And I believe that Hollow Knight is discounted right now. So if you have the disposable income to spare and you want to experience a brand new fantastic game that you've never played before, go and play Hollow Knight. It is so good, so good. Yeah, I would genuinely give, if I had to like give a sort of an arbitrary number score to Hollow Knight, I would say it is at bare minimum an 8 out of 10 quality game. Could very well easily be a 9 or 10 out of 10 if I, continue playing it more and experience all the different content that is available for me to play. That could be the case. But for now, I will say like a solid 8, maybe 9 out of 10 quality. Fantastic stuff. Yeah. So that was me kind of doing the second ending to the game. Thank you guys so much for watching, if you did. What else can I say? So for those of you who are, curious about YouTube content, right? For my channel, for like the VOD channel, right? For one, with my like main channel, with my first channel, I do have some upcoming videos that I want to create and that I want to release on that channel. I want to do more of the sort of compilation videos, the clips of Mr. Xionyx. I will be putting multiple clips together into one larger video, and hopefully it'll be entertaining for you guys. But that is a work in progress. And then for the other channel, for the VOD channel, I do know, I'm very well aware that I am very much so behind on uploading, and I'm falling further and further behind as Mr. Xionyx continues to do more live streams. Unfortunately, the thing is that like right now, if you didn't know, I am currently taking classes. I'm taking school classes, college classes, and the thing is that there are basically 2 days where I know that I have homework out of the week, and then like one of my classes, they will assign different homework assignments on random days. Like on one week it might be on a Wednesday, or it might be on a Thursday, so on and so forth. And so my schedule is very, very bizarre and inconsistent, and I haven't really had the time nor the energy to kind of basically process the VODs and get them stitched together and get them uploaded. So I promise that they will come back at some point. If I'm not mistaken, my college classes, they are like the end of the term is coming up soon, so I should be done with my classes pretty soon here, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit more free time. Another thing that I will briefly mention is that I am currently in the process of kind of just seeking out a part-time or full-time job, for myself. I'm looking for work out there, so if perhaps I do for some reason land a job, whether it's part-time, whether it's full-time, that will very likely also impact my schedule and when I can do things, and the freedom that I have. But for now, that is kind of the updates that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did, if you love Hollow Knight, feel free to drop your comments, drop your, questions, whatever, down below. If you have never played Hollow Knight before, then definitely go check it out. You're also free to comment and drop any questions or whatever down below as well. Yeah. With that being said, I will be, just doing my normal thing, playing Genshin, playing variety games. So I will be streaming this video, assuming that it does come out on Saturday, like I hopefully will be able to release it on. I will be streaming live on Twitch tomorrow, which is Sunday. However, if this video does come out later than Saturday, then, disregard whatever I'm saying. I'm going to be live, so I'm live on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays on Twitch playing Genshin and maybe possibly potentially playing Variety. So yeah, you guys can catch me there. I might be playing Genshin, I might be playing Sekiro, we'll see. But yeah, with that being said, I will end the video here. I think it's been long enough, and I will get to work on uploading it. Anywho, for anyone and everyone out there, I hope that you have a fantastic, magnificent rest of the day or night. Stay safe out there, stay happy, stay healthy, eat lots of yummy, delicious food, drink lots of water, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you guys during a future video and or live stream. Alright, peace out guys. Bye.